Hi, this is Robert Cooper, Reverend Robert Cooper from Kingman, Arizona, and I've set up some ecosystem, I want to call it, the different way of doing things involving Linux, the Calamares Distro installer, and YouTube videos. So let's get into it. Right now, I have, you can see right here, I have a SOCAT command server. I have two of them. This is on port 9001. Then I have another one on port 9000 right here. Right. And what these do is I send data down port 9000, 9001. 9000 is a catch-all. It'll run everything in a terminal that pops up a genome terminal page and runs there. It does some parsing of the data as it comes through. And then 9001 is used mainly for a single command like ls for Linux, or it's used for applications including Chromium, Firefox, Chrome for the websites. So let me get into this. I've got running right now the Calamares installer, which is the gold standard for installing most Linux versions, and that's this right here. But it's running in a little different mode right now. As you can see, I have there's a right clone. That's my brand name for my next simple distro remastering system, and scat pack commands, eggs, desktop, location. Now location is the first module that gets run normally. Well, you have welcome. This is what this is, welcome, and then the next one would be I think it's location. Yes, location, and then keyboard, and then partitions, and then user, and then install. So this is Calamares. It's the real deal. It's ready to rock and roll. Except it's got a issue. I changed it. I made it. I turned it into a command control center, and so what it does. There's three buttons right now programmed. These are going to be this one here all the way over to 10 are going to be the buttons for my my right clone remastering system, which I'm working on currently. And you click these, and it's going to do pop-ups, and it's going to put information down here. Now this top one there are two frames. This is a menu frame up here, and this is the main frame down here, right? And I've got this set up. I believe it's this one here. These two here actually populate down here. So you click on this. Let me do this one first. Okay, so watch down here. So basically, there you go. This menu loaded. The only thing it did is it loaded a file that has the logo for Penguin Eggs. I made this for Penguin Eggs, and if I click on it. Command sent. See if it did. That's 9001, 9000. No, I didn't send it, so let's see what's going on here. Yeah, the computer's just slow right now. It did send it. There it is right there. So if I do this, actually eggs is not installed on this computer anymore. I took it off. So what would happen is this menu item here, which is a iframe menu, down here is iframe main, and it uses old school target instead of using underscore blank for like a new page or parent or self. It used the name of the frame, which is main. So when I click on it, it populates the new page here. And I click on this, and it brings up the genome terminal to run the eggs status. Right there, it says that, right? So let's click on this one here and see what it does. Well, let's see. It loaded the page down here. I think there's something else that's going to be loading here in a second. The computer's real slow. But there we go. All right. There you go. So this is that GUI here. This is the YAD version of my remaster system. It lets you It lets you go ahead and pick the partition that you want for the source, and then you pick the partition for the build. And what the build does is that you copy the source to the build, and then you manipulate it with these other commands up here, but I'm not going to talk about so much about that. It does work, so we'll do that some other time. So I'm going to click on this first one, and this is one I added this morning at about 3 in the morning because I've worked on it for about 5 hours straight. Let's click on this one and watch what it does. So this is my scat pack, and it will actually, I'm going to click on that, it'll take a second to load. It'll run commands. This is a browser right here. This is a 100% browser engine. It just doesn't have the menu. There you go. So I clicked on a little button in a browser, and it executed VLC player. So basically what it is that I'm using the port 9009. That was 9001 for the VLC because that's an application. So what I'm doing is, let's go ahead and put the egg thing back here, and I'm going to click. That's the only thing that one does. When I click over here, I'm going to bring up that, watch down here. See how that populated that? So this here populated here. It also ran this full JavaScript window that comes up. This is a full browser. It just doesn't have the menu or the URL bar on it. And you can also do 3. You can do the click on the menu button, populates this, pops up a command for terminal, and then pops up the JavaScript website page too. So because the web browser, so basically if I click here, it'll bring up the, if I remember right, yeah, this is a terminal. This is a terminal page right here. This is the terminal. This is a GUI graphic right here, and if I do this one, it brings up the web browser JavaScript. You can actually do all 3 at one time. You can do 4. You can do 5. It just depends on how much memory you're willing to expend on the system. So in this one here, let's close it. This one here just brings up the JavaScript, but it also populates down here. This one here runs a command in a terminal, which launches a GUI, the YAG GUI, and it also populates down here. And this one here, all it does is populate down here, and I can manually run the program for penguin eggs. Now, what's neat about this is Calamares is not designed to do this. You can ask 1,000 programmers and Linux gurus and all these admin guys, what's Calamari for? Some will say, well, you eat it. I won't. But they'll say Calamares distro installer. Well, what else does it do? Well, that's it. No, this thing is a very powerful tool. The only problem is this, what we're seeing here right in here, because I have it split in 2 pages, frames. You have the top menu, of course, and you have, again, I say the main, so you have 2 frames. There's an index.html page that's the parent for both of these. So you got an index.html, which allows the menu and it sets the parameters for them, the size of here, 175 or whatever is pixel high, and 500 and something down here for the main frame. And this is old school, but it works perfect for Calamari and for what they call the webview. Webview is a module within Calamares, and it's programmed into the system. I believe Calamares is based on C coding, and it's a web engine. It's the Chrome web engine. Think of it as a headless web engine, and it's doing the back-end processing for the HTML. The only issue is, and why I'm showing this with the menu and the clicks and how it does the 2 frames, is that they've got the JavaScript locked down. About the only thing that work on JavaScript is the onclick, which is just like an HTML hyperlink. That's about the only thing that work. Maybe a couple of other stuff, but it won't do JavaScript most. It won't do any client side. I mean, well, I should say it won't do any server side. That's for sure. Right? So they've locked it down. They've also locked down. You can't play videos, not at all. And or at least I haven't got to the format where they will play. It's not HTML5 compatible. It won't play YouTube videos. So I might find that there's maybe a H264 with an ACC coding for the MIDI, the audio, and that might work. I've got one video where to work one day, did it again, it wouldn't work. So there's something with the caching on that part. But this is an actual web browser. It's called WebView within the Calamares installer program. We can't really call this an installer anymore. Calamares is now, with what I'm doing, is actually a front-end GUI manager. It's a command and control system at this point. I can run using the SOCATs and the bash. So I've married basically Calamares to bash using the SOCAT listeners, right? Same thing I did with the JavaScript with my SCATPack program. So I'm using, now this is only designed to be ran localhost, and it's an issue of running it with on the internet. All the ports on your computer need to be closed out before using something like this with a SOCAT. Now Node actually has WebSockets that does the same thing as the SOCAT does, but the difference is SOCAT's like 80 kilobytes, I think it is, or 100 kilobytes, and Node is like 110 or 120 megabytes. So if you go to want to build a app image to make a self-executable application with something like this, you don't want to use Node, so you're going to use the SOCAT. All right. Well, that's the same thing with using, say, GUI. GUI requires about 160 megabytes of libraries for the WebKit, GTK3, and the source view. If you're going to do the HTML part of it, well, the HTML and the source view for the fancy handling of the fonts and things like that. So you're talking about 360, 400 megabytes extra if you use GUI and you use Node, which this Penguin 8 program, after version 10, and I know version 25 and 26 now, uses Node, I'm sorry, uses, I almost said yolk, like egg yolk, but it uses Node. And that's a problem because it's so much larger, so you can't make a really small app image. It's almost like do this on purpose. So especially when there's another alternative called SOCAT. So I'm using SOCAT for right now, and I need to use SOCAT because JavaScript, by the browser controls, cannot execute programs like I've shown you here, and it cannot arbitrarily access file systems. There's a thing called CORS, which is the cross-origin restriction system. That's not the term for it, but that's what I made. There's this CORS, and if you're not aware of it, it was put in place for browsers to make it only browse. They made a browser because they don't want you using it for a command and control like this, right? So Calamares, because of what I've done, I can honestly say is that I had to have AI. We spent five hours just today to be able to do the JavaScript one here, to have this JavaScript pop up like this, because normally this is an actual pop-up JavaScript page, full web browser, 100%. This is all JavaScript right here, mainly little CSS coding. But GUI, which uses the WebKit GTK3 web engine, and Calamares right here, which uses the Chromium web engine through their WebView module, you cannot pop up new pages, not even with the new or blank target setting within the hyperlinks. It will not let you do it. It's blocked. It's just the way that they've got it set up. And Calamares, and for the most part, under YAD, on the most part, YAD, you can use JavaScript. It works fairly well. The only thing YAD has a problem with is the HTML5 that I can tell. But on the Calamares web engine here, they've got the Java so far locked out. So I had to work with AI for 5 hours just to get this JavaScript part of work. So right now, if I need to play a video, I would just go ahead and pop it up in a JavaScript a page, and I could play it. Or if I need to run JavaScript, like my SCATPack command and control system, I just run it up in JavaScript. So that was the only restriction I found in this, right? So let's go to the next thing that I want to show you about. Here's my GUI part of the Rite clone, which I'm going to use to eventually GUI will be gone, and I'll be using JavaScript altogether. So But let's go here. I'm going to show you if it'll launch. There you go. Okay. So this is my Me2PC website, and what it does is it allows you to create these video players. These are containers, and they're div containers. And how I got this to appear like this is I used this drag and drop system that I've got, which is based off JavaScript. So I can't run this in GUI or in the Calamares user interface that I've created. But what I can do, and it's a little slow because of the I've got simple screen recorder running. Well, it's not too bad. And I'm going to show you what this does. Right now, I have this configured here, where you click on the three little dots on the listing for if you've done a search for YouTube, and you find the three little dots and you click on it. And over here, here's the link right here to it, like a regular URL link. But you want to click on embed, all right? And this is going to change because I'm going to update the program. But for right now, click on the embed, and it shows it's going to play. It'll show the video up here, and then I'm going to click on the actual code, and we're going to let the code highlight. We'll wait a few seconds for it to resolve, because it's slow right now because of the video recorder. There we go. So I'm going to drag that over here, if it'll let me. There we go. We go right over here, like that, and see how it goes green? You're on top of the hash mark, and then it goes green. If you let go, like that, and it's going to populate that container. Now, what's interesting about this is you can drag more than one. You can put these iframe code over here in like a text editor, right there, right here. You can put this code in a text editor, put as many as you want, right? I just say don't put any more than 10. And then from the text editor, put it to the screen over here, highlight all the code, and you can drag it into that container, and inside that container you'll have 10 videos. Well, there's 15 of these containers on this the way I've got it set up. It's kind of just an average thing I just picked. That would be 150 videos that you can watch off of YouTube. And when I'm showing you what the preview does, basically up in the cloud, off the computer, running YouTube videos, anywhere from 15 to 150 or more, which just how much your memory your computer is going to be able to have it. I've never done over like 30 of them. You know, they seem to be okay at that level. You can watch them, right, without ads. You'll never see a YouTube ad. Now, you may see an ad from a creator that makes these videos, but not an ad from YouTube. And I just got tired with the ads every 2 minutes in a video at YouTube, and some of the content's crap. I mean, why pay $9 to $10 a month when there's no rhyme and reason why they have to do this? They could do it a different way, but that's for everyone to decide. But what this system does, it's a drag and drop video builder, video page builder, right? And I'm just gonna leave this one in there, right? I'm gonna click on it. Let's click off the embed code, because that takes up a little memory. You can see how slow it is right now. Okay, I'm gonna come over here, and I'm gonna click, say it's supposed to play video. I'm gonna click on it. So you dragged it here, or I dragged it here anyways, the code. It resolved the video to that container, all right? And this is on the internet, so it's going to play no problem. Eventually, when it finally loads up, and it'll start playing here in a second. Now, normally if you did this and you saved it to your computer and you tried to launch this in a browser on your computer, you'll get an error that says cannot play this. You know, you only play it on the internet, YouTube. I can't hear that personally because I got the way my setup is. I'm sure that you're getting the gist of it. So after you drag these over, right? You can click you got 15 to 30 videos that you've already promulgated into the system here. You click on generate, and what that'll do is over here you'll see it's working right there. It actually generated right there. It generated a file called generate.contil.html, right? And if you go to that file, right here, and if I right click that, now we're on localhost, we're gonna hopefully this doesn't cause a problem with the computer doing more browser instances being installed and running. Oh, there we go. There it is. So it's gonna load no problem. It's a little slow. So see how it says watch video on YouTube? Okay. Well, I'm gonna pause the video because I'm gonna do something, and I'll show you how you can actually play local embedded videos on your computer on localhost. Well, be right back. Okay, I'm back. So we left before this YouTube video won't play. Now, if you click here, it'll take you to YouTube. You'll play that video online and watch all their ads. So what I did is I'm running a Node web server. It probably has a WebSocket too, but that's for transferring data. But this is a WebSocket web server, and it's a Node, and it's a compiled web server. It's like 30 megabytes, I believe. Okay, so what happens? You can't even do this with Apache. Apache won't even work this way, right? It's a special customized web server I made. I'll be happy to send it to anyone they want, make it downloadable. But so now, if I go over here, if you notice, look at the file name here, right? It's generated content right there. If you go over here, this is the same video, right? It's the same file name, but it's running under localhost 3000, right? And if you look over here, look where the downloads is. That's the same folder that file's in, and I'm running that web server like that, and that will play. This will allow you to play any video that can play iframe on the internet. You can play it on your computer, localhost. Now, of course, you got to connect the internet because these are streaming from YouTube. So, okay, so now that we have that option, let's go over here. I better close some of these because it's definitely gonna memory. You know, it takes 100 and some megabyte, 80 megabytes there, 100 megabytes this one probably of extra memory. So, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the preview. We're going to do a pop-up, which is over here. Now, I'm going to modify this program. Right now, you can't do this with Android. You can only do it with a desktop, either Linux, Windows, or Macintosh. And you can do this on all of them because this is on the internet. This right here, this drag and drop system. And how I've got this set up, where I have two. I have Chromium now has the ability to, if I'll right-click the tab up here, it has what they call a split tab. See what it says like there? It says arrange split view. You can do side-by-side split view of two tabs on the same window, and that's how this is working. And that's if you're not using this in Chromium or Chrome, you need to check into it because this is so cool. Because before I had to have two instances, had to have a browser over here and a browser over here to resize them, and then I could drag left and right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. What I was going to say, right now it has two buttons. That's the download one, and it generates the download, and you saw that in action. This preview ones will do right now, but I'm going to add a third one. Right now, you cannot do this on an Android device. Can't do it on an iPhone. I don't believe either. YouTube does not allow you to have the share embed code when on an Android. You can do it on a desktop. You can't do it on Android. So I'm going to add another link here, or another button. And another thing I should show you. You can actually change the name. So whatever you drop these, say if you have like a bunch of videos for Caesar or Nickelback, then just change this, come right here, and you change it to Nickelback. If I can spell right. I think that's right. And click off. And then when you do this, we'll see it here in a second. When we do this preview pop-up, and it actually makes a page, you can actually right-click and do the source and save it to a file, just like if you were going to generate it over here. But I'm going to add a third button here. And that third button it'll say either link or it'll say iframe. Okay. If it says iframe, you drop the iframe code in there, like we're doing here. But if you click it and it switches to link, because the JavaScript can do that. It'll switch out. It'll say, maybe I'll do like a blue button or a yellow button, whatever, where it switches, so you'll know the difference, or you can see it obviously. So when it goes to link, then regardless if you're on a desktop or you're on a Android, you can just drag the link over, and this program will, when it says link here on the third button, when it says link, this program, this JavaScript program, which because it will actually make the iframe code itself and implant it in the container. So, and it'll be the same way as you'll be able to put 10 links in a text file, hide all the 10 links and drop them in here, and one by one, using an array, it will actually create all 10 of those iframe codes and pop it into the thing, just like we're dragging right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the preview. This may take a few seconds. So there it is right there, right? And it's going to load the video. I only did one video because it's faster that way. It does take a little time if you're resolving 10 or 15 videos at one time. And the more videos I open, the more pages I open, it's slower on my computer. This computer here is a 2009 AMD processor. It's only a dual core. It works okay though. They get 3 gigabytes. And here we go. And we can play the video here. This is in the cloud. This is not on my computer, and it's not on. It's kind of on the internet, but it's in the cloud basically. It's playing on Sling, so it will play. It's a little slow though. So I'm hoping people will use this. Let's make it viral. Give me some feedbacks on it. If you need to contact me, you can go to startdesktop.com. Let me turn this off. Startdesktop.com, START, like start, desktop.com. And there's a contact page there if you want to contact me about these things that I'm doing. I hope people use these. This is so cool. And you can make these and save them. And if you don't want to download it, what you can do is you just right-click here, go to View Page Source, and this is all open source. There's nothing hidden. Okay. This is the whole code as it's generated. Now this is not the drag and drop. You can actually right-click the drag and drop and they take that too. It's only using JavaScript. There's no PHP. There's no hidden parsing or anything like that. I think this is going to work. I think it's just slow. So you can right-click it and get the source for the drag and drop. You can make your own. You can put it on the internet, do your own thing. And what's neat about this is you can actually drag and drop on your local computer. I can make these files downloadable too, or at least the drag and drop one. It says blank, so I'm not sure what that's about. I'll have to check into that. But normally you can get the code. Maybe it has to do with because it's up in the atmosphere. But if you right-click here, watch it make a line around me. Right-click here and go to Page Source. There you are. This is all the code. This is the JavaScript. There's no external code. This is it. You can take this and you can copy this and you can put it in an HTML file and you can run this. This will run on a client side too. And if anyone has the issues on any system you're using, whether you use Ubuntu or this is NX Linux here, so this definitely works no problem with the NX Linux and Debian PureBase. But if you're using another Linux system and you run into issue with this running on your local computer where you're dragging and dropping, let me know and I will make a version for that, or at least trying to diagnose what's going on with that. So here it is. You could right-click it and you can actually have your own personal local drag and drop system. And the neat thing about it, now, unless you're running the web server, when you do it locally, right now we're doing it on the internet, but if you do the drag and drop locally, you have to have a web server running in that same folder as this program, or it will not show the videos. It'll come up, it'll say an error. Now you can generate that up into the up in the cloud, but since it's local, it still won't play. All right. So there's an issue with that. So that's why you want to use the online generator and drag and drop like this and create your own custom 15 to 150 video players and save it to your computer, and anyone that wants the web server, let me know and I'll make it downloadable. I just do not make it arbitrarily available unless someone really wants it. So I hope you enjoyed this. So remember, Calamari is not just an installer anymore. It can be made into a actual user interface GUI, command and control system. It wasn't easy. It took, I've been working on these for like 10 years off and on. It's only the last 6 months that I've really got inspired, and the last 3 months that I've used AI, not 4 months actually now, that I've used AI, and it is so cool. When I'm doing these graphics here, AI did all these graphics. I used ChatGPT for it. I use the DeepSeek, chat.deepseek.com for some coding, but I mainly use the ChatGPT for these awesome graphics. And let me show you another one that the ChatGPT did that it's interesting because of what what I'm doing with this particular website. It's called KISS. Come on, there you go. Not DIS, it's called KISS. Come on, Robert. Oh my. That's what happens when you got old equipment. Well, I'm gonna close out this because I know this is causing. We're gonna close this. That'll help somewhere right there. And then it's called KISS, KISS Bible. Now check out this graphic that comes up. Is that kind of interesting or what? ChatGPT did this. After about a 4 to 6 hour discussion about this particular topic, about keeping it simple, basically keep it simple systems, keep it simple code, keep it SiteVerse. SiteVerse is a website that I own. Site as in you know, right, well, I have to explain a little bit. I own RiteVerse.com, right? And RiteVerse is a rite of passage, R-I-T-E, the rite of passage. Well, RiteVerse would be the right of our universe. We have a right to be existing in this universe. I should probably change that to RiteVerse and not SiteVerse, but that's just the way it is. So basically, AI did this whole website for me. After about, it was 4 to 6 hours discussion about this very topic, and it created the 7 books of KISS, this KISS Bible methods. There's the 7 laws of KISS, and I hope people don't take this as me making fun of religion, because that's not the case. I'm actually an ordained minister since 2015, and I take religion very seriously, the Christian religion, my own. I believe everyone has the right to believe what they believe. But my point here in doing this part here with this simple KISS Bible is that we need to apply simplistic things toward everything. Not just, one little aspect of life. Everything has to be simple. And that's easier said than done, because we have external forces that I consider, for me anyways, I have several external forces that are just totally evil. They don't like me. They just, and that's just all there is to it. I'm sorry. I try to be the best person I can, but these people are hateful and they're darn out evil, and it's just the same. But so I try to do as much simplistic, what do you want to call it, venturing in my life, things that I do differently, trying to do it in the very most simplest way that I can. And that's what I do my code. I'm not a programmer. I call myself a code crafter. I don't understand a lot about the code. I do need to research a bunch. I use other people's code and modify it, and AI is helping me now. So I'm not a programmer per se, but you can see what I've done with this the Calamari and the GUI pop-ups, and everything works. So I hope this is inspiring for people. At least check out my website. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment below. Good criticism, bad criticism, ask questions, get involved. I'm hoping some people will see where this can go. Is now it can take now I don't have to have Calamari as a like a wrapper for this menu system that I created, where it executes bash commands through the SOCAT servers, or it uses the pop-up JavaScript full engine power there. I don't have to have the Calamari, but the thing is that what I'm able to do is from the very start, the person wants to remaster Linux to the very end where they're going to burn the ISO to the USB stick, or copy it to a Ventoy, VENTOY, Ventoy USB configuration. All that can be fully automated, and it can all be done through clicks, basically, and little data entry from the user through the Calamari interface. Right now, you could have two parts. You could do the website. It could be done from an online. These commands that I'm mentioning right now, because they're done at the local, if you can close all your ports off, and you can run. A lot of people aren't going to like to hear this. You can run that page right there. I have. You can run it on the internet with those SOCATs enabled, and if you close all the ports on your computer, it is just as secure as if the SOCATs were not running, because those SOCAT servers are on the UFW firewall, and if they can get through the firewall, they can do anything to your computer. The SOCATs have nothing to do with that. So it's a very, it's not a complex process. I'll be happy to explain to everyone how I did this. If you see over here where it says browser tombstone and browser complexity, rest in peace, well, we're trying to change that. We're going to make it where it's super simple. And why not marry the browser, which can do everything on the web? Why not marry that to now be able to do everything on the desktop too? So now you have a browser that can do anything and everything that can be done in a terminal and beyond that. Because there's certain things you cannot do in a terminal that you can do on the website or on the web, through the internet. All right, well, thank you for watching. I know this has been a long video, a little rambling on. I would love to hear from other people. I would love to hear from investors too, who would like to buy into this. I'm offering an opportunity to buy into this, because I hope some people see where this is going, and it's $12,000 for a whole year of contractual programming with me to develop this system. And I can't guarantee you what things in life happen, but I think the return is going to be 3 times in a year. So the project's for a whole year. Then after that second year, I still think there's going to be a possibility of making $24,000 off of $12,000. But that's just me. There's more to it. There's some legalities that get involved, contracts and stuff. So feel free to comment. Let me know. Thank you for watching.